Oh, that end.
Right up here, right up there.
Right, I was thinking of my end there, because I'm on West Street.
Hello everyone, we're going to get started. We only have an hour and we have a couple of announcements before we have our mayor speak to us on some important topics. As you know, my name is Jane Marshall, I'm the OCNA president. I'd like to introduce the board that's here right now. We have Kurt Busk over here, he's vice president. We have Marian Binkowski, she's the director. We have Lane Stewart, he's our treasurer, and we have another gentleman, Kevin Ham, who is in Chile right now. So, not Chile, but Chile.
Chili out there.
Anyway, I wanted to review some of the information that's in our newsletter. A lot of it is very important. How many of you get this green newsletter? Is that what made you come, or the emails, or what? Emails and this. We're trying to prompt everybody. So, all right. So the first thing I want to mention is we're having a December 8th holiday get together at Bagby's. So that's next Friday, 6 p.m. to probably 8. And it's a lot of fun. Bring a re-gift that's wrapped, something that you got and you don't want. Not in terrible shape though. And wrap it, and then we have a gift exchange. And it's pretty funny, really funny. So come and have some fun with us. Also, the night before, on December 7th, is the downtown tree lighting, which is down at the Regal Theater. You know, it's a tradition every year to do that. It starts at 6 p.m. There's some stuff a little earlier, like Santa stuff, if you're into that. You know, we have children, grandkids, please bring them. There's milk and cookies and stuff like that. The other thing that we're really happy about is OCNA, along with St. Mary's School, is doing a small fund drive for a local needy family. In this case, it's 2 children and a single dad that St. Mary's has identified, and we're collecting donations to put together a holiday basket for them. And it's going to be a surprise and all that stuff. So if you're interested in helping us, whether it's cash or Venmo on our site, I think we have a Venmo here on this, please see Marianne over there in a gray sweater, and help us out and help make this holiday a really nice one for this family. And another important thing is the seaside parking permit. The OCNA members voted on supporting the parking permits, and initially, if you have this, it's on the back, there's an initial map that includes from Seagaze down to Missouri, which is a lot of higher density, kind of, it's not necessarily down past south of Wisconsin. Higher density, and it's from Freeman to Nevada. So it's a small section, but what this does is it allows the actual residents to apply for a permit. And those are, I think, $15 a year. And with that $15, you also get 25 5-day guest passes. So if you have friends or family staying, you have ample enough. But what this does is it allows the residents to actually park near or somewhere near where they actually reside. A lot of these areas are impacted by the overflow from some of the very cool businesses that we all love and want to support. And we just want to make sure that the residents aren't kind of compromised because of that, okay? So one of our former board members who is studying for her CPA exam is leading this charge. Her name is Michelle Barnum. If you want any more information and want to help us sign the petition, you must live in this area to sign it, then please see me and I'll get you hooked up. And without further ado, and without making our mayor wait any longer, I want to introduce Mayor Esther Sanchez, who is going to speak to us on the state of the city. And she's also brought along the city planner, Sergio Madera, right? And he is, if there's any details on any particular project or information that she's sharing, she brought him along so that he could, right here and now, give you information. I do request that we hold questions until the end, just so some of the stuff that she may be speaking about may answer your question, and that way we can get through the whole presentation. So without further ado, Mayor, welcome.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I actually am very honored that you would ask for a kind of a state of the city address, so to speak. I was going to actually do one last year, but was trying to coordinate with another mayor. Didn't work out, so I'm definitely going to do one next year. And so this will really help me. I would love to hear your feedback so that I can do a better job around June, July. So, first of all, this is kind of an overview first of what we've been doing with the city. This is not just the development. I know there were a lot of questions about what's happening in terms of development. But let me start by talking about more general stuff. Like, for example, downtown, Go Side. You all like Go Side? Yeah. Well, initially we thought, you know what, we can't afford to do this again. We can't afford to do this. And then Sandag came through with a grant, as did Visit Oceanside. So that is really the reason why we were able to do this again with the city. It has expanded. The first trial run was free. This time around is $3, as you know. $6 is the cap, so that if it's more than 2 people, if it's 3 people, for example, it's $6. So we are monitoring that, right, to see is $3 a good thing, or, see how that goes. Gatekeeper, working very closely with Main Street Oceanside. So we did sign up for another year. Basically expanded area. And this time around, though, I did ask for a report on, hey, listen, I want to know what are the impacts, okay? So that if what's happening is people are just moving, especially within a neighborhood, I want to know that. Because we need to be able to address whatever impacts it's creating. What I'm hearing from the community is that everybody seems to be liking it, the gatekeeper. And I think as they got started and then did more, I think they ended up kind of getting into like what was expected of them. Any concerns were addressed, and I think they're doing a pretty good job. Oh, gatekeeper. That is the security, private security. As you know, we don't have enough police officers. We're actually down, I think it was down about 10 still, vacancies. So this is actually, doesn't cost as much as police officers. And this was something that Main Street Oceanside wanted to do as part of their P-bid, right? And P-bid, what they did was they contacted the businesses to see, okay, can we create a district so that we put money into this district and then we'll clean up the sidewalks more often, have lights, have private security. And so private security ended up being a cost. So this is a shared cost between Main Street Oceanside and the City of Oceanside. Now, the reason why the City of Oceanside is involved is because these are public streets. It's not a private, this is not like a shopping mall. This is actually, or a industrial park. These are actually public streets. So that is, there might be some folks who will want to do, hey, why don't we do that in these shopping malls? No, that's more private. We cannot partner that way with that. The downtown density cap was recently placed. Once we had actually taken it off, thinking this was before the new laws from the state came down and started talking about density bonus, and if you don't even have a cap, right? It was basically the idea of form-based planning, so that if you had, the bulk and scale to code, you could do as many units as you could fit in there, and still get your project passed. Well, unfortunately, the density bonus laws kind of made it so that they can build anything, however high. Is there an actual cap on height? No. Yeah, so these are crazy, crazy laws from the state that we were hoping to fight, and you've seen cities trying to fight, and they're losing. Every single case that I have been following, they've been losing. Now, housing. We're going to have a slide about RENA. That's our regional housing needs assessment, and that is something also imposed by the state. And so we're in an 8-year cycle into the 3rd year, correct? Yeah, so we have requirements that if we don't meet them, certain things will happen, right? I'm not really sure completely what would happen. Perhaps we would even any discretion that we have might even be taken away. So it's kind of harsh. I would say I've never seen this kind of situation before, because bottom line is that we don't build, right? We just have to make sure that we provide the zoning so that these units can be built, and somehow or other the state is putting more pressure on cities to somehow get this stuff done. So as to affordable housing, we have raised the inclusionary fee to 15%. This is what other cities have been doing in the county, so we're really happy that we'll get a few more, maybe just a couple, but more affordable housing units per project. We've just approved, we approved the Greenbrier all affordable housing project, which is 59 units. And this is a first for Oceanside because it includes wraparound services. What does that mean? That means that people who will be able to move here, there are some units that are, in terms of mental health services, will be provided. No Place Like Home is a fund from the county. So if someone has a mental health issue, but they're able to, they're stabilized, they'll be able to live in these units. Also, if there's, kind of issues, social issues, like or trying to get a job, something like that, this is the first for Oceanside that we would have a project that includes wraparound services. So that's really exciting. Even after that, we still have $11 million for in lieu fees. What are in lieu fees? That is a fee that developers pay if they don't want to build the affordable housing. So say they have to build 3 units, affordable housing units, and they don't want to do it on-site or off-site. They could do it off-site as well. And it's like, no, I'm just going to go ahead and pay that in lieu fee. In lieu of building, I will pay this fee. Right now we have about $11 million in that pot, and believe it or not, we have maybe 2 or 3 developers who are interested in building 100% affordable housing projects. So we're hoping that this is going to be coming up, I believe in the spring. The city is going to be offering that fund and see what projects, what developers are interested in coming to the council and being approved to have some part of that. This is considered gap funding, which means that $10 million is not going to build a project, right? But it's gap in that it's going to hopefully fill the gap that you need to be able to apply for other grants, state credits, and that kind of stuff in terms of loans. And design standards. I don't know if you remember, but we used to have design standards. I think there was one person that worked in the planning department who was really into design standards. And so that has kind of gone by the wayside. And that's because it could be waived by some of these projects that are being built under density bonus. Well, I asked, other people asked the city manager, can you bring them up anyway? Because what we want to do is be able to talk developers into doing, the best project, even if they're going to be asking for density bonus, to make it look nice, right? So that's what we're hoping that they'll be willing to do. A lot has been done on homeless. We have, as you know, the Navigation Center, which opened in August. I know people were wondering, when is it going to open? When is it going to open? It finally did in August. As you know, this is the shelter. Oceanside never had a shelter before. We always contracted out for services, usually through Interfaith in Escondido. And of course, there's no more room at the inn, so to speak, for homeless shelters. So we finally did build one. We needed to, really. It is a 50 bed, and they try to get individuals stabilized within 30 days, but obviously there's no deadline for them to be, they could stay for maybe 6 months, whatever. But it is Rescue Mission that is running it.
Where is it?
It is the old Ocean Shore School site.
Oh,
How can we know in Oceanside Boulevard?
Who knew that, where the Ocean Shore School, yeah, okay. Yeah, that used to be the alternative high school, way back in the day. And so basically the city bought that land. It also bought the land next to it. So we're hoping to, we could do other things there besides that. So that's pretty cool. And then a really important thing, we have a new senator, Catherine Blakespear, and she was trying to push homelessness to be part of the RENA numbers. She put a bill in to try to make it even harder for cities, if you can believe that. So the North coastal cities got together and basically told her, we don't want this. She said, well, cities are not acting responsibly towards their homeless. We spend at least $11 million a year on our homeless, on our HOT team, our homeless outreach team, and paying for social workers and mental health specialists, and of course, all the other things that happen in terms of code enforcement and moving encampments. So we were able to not have that happen. It's going to be up again next year, so we're going to continue that fight so that we don't have to include that. Although our numbers were better this year in terms of homeless. Mental health, a lot has been happening on mental health. North Coastal Behavioral Health Crisis Stabilization Unit was created at the county Live Well Center. Do you know where that is? That's on Mission. And what is that street? Yeah, right across the street from the old police station, or Vance. Right across the street from Vance. So bottom line is, that is a 12 chairs. This is really for short-term, very short, within 24 hours. To stabilize, it could be a family that would, that finds, there's a problem, they're not being able to handle their kid or something, their adult child or their young child, and so they can go and ask for, it's either by appointment or drop in. It's also a place where the police can bring someone who is 5150. 5150 means that they are not able to, that they could be a harm to other people or to themselves. They seem to be suffering from some kind of mental health issue. We also have the psychiatric health facilities to be completed by February 2024 at Tri-City Medical Center. Remember, Tri-City basically closed that down without really letting any of us know. We're wondering, what are we going to do with this? Because where are the officers going to take these folks, right? And that's 16 beds, and that's a longer stay, 5 to 7 days. Care Court, you've probably heard about that. We are doing a pilot project here in San Diego County. It is all voluntary. That's the unfortunate thing. Care Court stands for Community Assistance, Recovery, and Empowerment. It has to do with mostly folks who have the diagnosis of schizophrenia. So it is an attempt to get people to receive help, receive medical assistance, but it is voluntary. And a lot of us ended up petitioning the governor and saying, look, we need something that is not voluntary. Because, as I hear that there are only maybe 5, 10 cases. It started in October, and there's not a whole lot of referrals that are being made. So the state did expand the definition of gravely disabled for conservatorships. Anybody know what a conservatorship is? Yeah. And this is not the Hollywood conservatorships. This is a 1 year, that is renewable once a year, and a person under conservatorship has a right to a trial by jury, a right to an attorney, and so this is, this is not, who was that star that?
Britney Spears.
Yeah, it was on for like 10, 15, it's like that is so unheard of, right? But anyway, that will actually help us to get people who really need help into, and it could be anywhere, it's supposed to be the least restrictive, so anywhere from independent living to closed lock facility. The next challenge, of course, is going to be building those facilities. And Sheriff Kelly Martinez contacted the mayors for North County and basically told us that she is petitioning to rebuild basically the Vista Jail. And so when we heard this, we asked her, well, could you include mental health services or expand that? Because they really do have some of that. So there will be a time this coming year that the public will be able to have input on this project. They're going to be looking for money, for grant funds, and they might do a bond. They haven't decided yet how to do this, how to pay for it, but it's in dire need of either renovations or rebuild or both. It will start 2028, and it'll take about 9-10 years. Quality of life issues, parks. As you know, right now we're going through a process for a dog park right next to American Little League. You know about that, right?
Yes.
Yes. So how many went to that meeting? Didn't? Okay. Well, hopefully that will relieve some of the needs for people who have pets and want to be able to go to a dog park. As you know, there's also a dog park included in Parkside 1. Anybody know what Parkside 1 is? Yeah. So that's another thing, Parkside 1. We actually have 7 of 8 of the $1 million. And they're actually working on it. So my question before coming here is, $1 million, we can do that. We can get that out of X measure X. So the answer is yes. When they get to that point, they'll be bringing it to the council. And I hope you'll be there to say, yes, you gotta spend that money. Yeah? Question, I know you.
What is Parkside 1?
Parkside 1 is El Corazon.
Oh.
And it's called Parkside 1 because there are, I think, 3 potential sites. So this is the first one that is going to include pickleball, basketball, bike trails, pump park, what is it called? A pump station? Pump track, that's it. You know what a pump track is? Bicycle track. That could also be used by roller skaters, I guess, and it's the next big thing, I guess. But also a dog park and fields. Started off with 2 fields when we found out that we were not going to get anything for land that was being requested for the arena that is being built for the San Diego Sockers. We tried really hard to at least negotiate something. We got out of that 2 fields. We're pretty short on fields, football fields, soccer fields, whatever. So we're really excited. We're hoping to get started on this. What do you think, Sergio?
I love
It's
it.
in design right now, though, so it's.
It is a design.
It's in design.
Yes. John Landis, I don't know, John Landis is on the other side of the city, but we've been having problems in terms of activity, criminal activity around that neighborhood, and anything that happens in the city affects all of us. So I'm happy to report that the different departments got together and basically redid John Landis. There's now a library in there. There's a youth drop center there. There's also Vista Community Clinic has a place for the youth as well. It's a really nice. Right now they're working on the mural outside. You need to come by and visit John Landis Park. So yes, we have parks throughout, and there's also a skate park element there. And that is getting about $1 million, so we're going to be having a nice skate element there.
Esther's Land is the one in the Tri-City area?
Yes. Brook Street Pool, I know you're all dying to find out, when is it opening, when is it? It's January. So, we're not in December yet, so I can't say next month. But yeah, so I believe that they're looking to do some kind of event like on January 6th, if it's on time. Might change, that date might change. Adaptive skate. we were approached by Michaela Ramirez of Poseidon Foundation about, do anybody know what adaptive skate is? It's like Special Olympics. Do you realize that skateboarding is now in the Olympics as of last year? Pretty cool, huh? So, believe it or not, what we're trying to do is have a place where adaptive skate can happen in Oceanside. So there was a demonstration that happened, I want to say a couple of months ago, and it was with Main Street Oceanside, and they actually had an inflatable ramp. And I missed it, but I understand that there were people in wheelchairs doing skateboarding activity. So it's really cool. We already have adaptive surfing, yeah. So this is something else. This is with working together with Visit Oceanside, the City of Oceanside, and I know there's another organization, probably Main Street Oceanside. Yes.
Sorry. I'm on the board of Stoke for Life Foundation in Oceanside, and we are funded partially by Visit Oceanside, and we are the adaptive surf community.
There you go.
Yeah, that does the big events down at the pier once a year, and the adaptive skate would be amazing to bring in because
Yes.
adaptive sports are the fastest growing sports in the world right now and getting so much attention.
Well, I was actually trying to get a skateboarding into Parkside 1. I was trying really hard to push that. So they said, no, it just doesn't fit. So that is the next project at El Corazon. So I hope that I will have your support in making that happen, because we could make a bigger one. Plus, we could have, seating, which you need. So we're going to have an event in March here in Oceanside for adaptive skate. It's going to be competition. So please look out for that. Haley's on it. Anybody see Haley's on it? I know, it's a Disney thing, yeah. It's a show for 6 to 11. Haley is a high school student who goes to Oceanside High. Well, guess what? We were contacted by the producers of Haley's on it, because she actually goes to Oceanside High, right? And they had never been to Oceanside. So they actually gave them a tour. And they are going to show a Christmas version of Haley's on it, and we're supposed to be like included in there. Something about Oceanside, the real Oceanside, because some things don't
Animal Kingdom.
mix it. No, not.
Well, that's the fake Oceanside.
Yeah. But it's really cool that we were able to have producers and writers here in Oceanside. They were really, really excited, and to be able to have that go out there, like, hey, this is a place that you can do, Haley's on it or something else besides Animal Kingdom, right? Park fees, we haven't changed our park fees for about 30, 40 years. That's finally coming to the council early next year. So we, because we're building more parks, and we really need those funds to be increased. And I guess right now there's some pushback by the developer community on those fees. Pier and beach improvements. So did you attend some of those meetings, the beach improvements? Okay, so we're very, very focused on the pier, because it is not a luxury item, it is a need. It was designed to last 100 years, and guess what? It's starting to fall apart. We don't want anyone to get get hit by the head by some falling debris, right? So pretty much that is now being separated from the project. They're both together, but now it's being separated so we can get it done quickly. There are $20 million set aside for Measure X. I'll be talking about Measure X in a minute. It's a $40 million project. Congressman Levin is really focused on this project as well. This is the top priority for him. So we really hope to get this piece first done, and then also do the other beach improvements. And I'm talking about the band shell and the amphitheater. Healthcare, these are all quality of life kind of things, right? Did you hear about what happened with Tri-City Hospital?
Yes, Scripps is buying them.
Yeah, so pretty much there were things that were going on, and they finally realized that they were not going to be able to recover. this time around financially. There was a 17-year extension for the seismic retrofit that has not been done yet. It's supposed to be done by 2030. They took out a $90 million loan, and so that needed to get paid, right? And there were certain things that were certain units that were starting to leave. Well, they put out kind of I don't know if you'd call it an RFP, but pretty much they reached out to see what they could do. Could they partner with another hospital? Would they have to be sold or completely leased out to another hospital? So there were two proposals, one by UCSD Health, yeah, and what they said was they were willing to put $101.8 million into the project in the first 2 years. First 2 years. They said that they would bring back deliveries to Tri-City, which had lost that. They also said that they want to bring a cancer unit, right? And just everything, just top of the technical line, whatever, how do you say that? Yeah. So it's really, really exciting. That competed against Sharp. Sharp wanted to do a long-term lease of 45 years of the whole entire hospital land, property, all of it. So this is actually a joint powers agreement. If it had been Sharp, you would have seen it on the ballot in November. And I don't know, I think it would have been 50% plus one. I don't know if people would have voted for it or not, but I'm telling you, UCSD, I mean, to me, that means that we're having excellence coming back to Oceanside for healthcare, and it's very, very exciting. So that's the news. They have a deadline, they put a deadline for themselves to come up with a JPA by the end of March. What that means is that Tri-City has to give them every single document they have, and they have to come up with this joint powers agreement. This is something that could change at any time, but of course UCSD is planning on putting a lot of investment in this. So I'm just saying that, oh my gosh, we have been, our clinics that deal mostly with Medi-Cal patients, they were not even able to go to Tri-City. They had to go all the way to Palomar. So this is going to come back, and we're very, very excited about that. So see a lot happening. Now, Rebeach, you know what that means, right?
Sand.
Okay, yay. All right, so it is the sand project. We do have 3 proposals. This is the last of 3 meetings. It's happening on December 13th. Please come.
Next week at, do you know where?
December 13th at the Beach Community Center.
Sand.
So the rec center, junior sale.
Junior Sam.
2.
So please come. The city manager said no ticketing for the parking, so don't worry about ticketing, right? I don't know how far from the beach that'll happen. So probably that day, But you really need to be there. For me, and we'll have something, a slide on this too. For me, it was really, really important that we maintain our kind of cultural activity on the beach that includes surfing. I mean, Oceanside is known for that. And the groins, the first proposal was going to really impact that. So I've seen, and I even invited mayors from North Coastal cities to come to City Hall and be briefed on the project, at least for the first 2 meetings. So, and they had a chance to speak and ask questions. So it's not, because they're concerned about ensuring that sand still, that drifts towards the south is going to continue, right? So pretty much I do feel that they are at this time feeling good about the project. I can't say too much more about that because of course we all want to wait and see what the final project is. But obviously we all want sand on our beach. I've been trying to get sand replenishment projects for over 10 years and I couldn't ever get a second. Now things are so bad, right? But we still, are going through this process. It's important to go through a process, obviously, and get input. So please be there December 13th at 6 o'clock. at the Beach Community Center, the Junior Seattle Beach Community Center. Broadband fiber improvements, you heard about that, right? Sci-Fi Network, Oceanside Fiber City, it's called. And believe it or not, the whole city is gonna be getting this fiber optic kind of, throughout the city. And it's not costing us a dime. So this is up to 10 gigs. This is pretty amazing. Clean Energy Alliance. Oceanside is getting on board. What is Clean Energy Alliance? SDG&E, right? Your energy, right? For City of Oceanside, we have requirements on building a smaller footprint in terms of the environment. Joining onto CEA, which is Clean Energy Alliance, which is basically carbon renewable, 100% renewable energy, right? It's carbon-free energy as a default. So 75% is going to be carbon-free energy, and that is going to start in April. There's going to be mailings starting in February, so you'll be able to at least 4 mailings. Now, the real cool thing about this is that you can either opt up to do 100% green, or you can opt down. In fact, you could actually say, I want to stay with SDG&E. Now, why would you stay with SDG&E when this is going to be 2% less? Any pricing is going to be 2% less than what SDG&E charges. Now that SDG&E is trying to do a flat fee, I'm not sure how that's going to work, right? I'm hoping that doesn't pass, because that certainly doesn't make sense to have everyone, regardless of how much energy you use, pay the same amount. But all of the North County cities along the 78 have all agreed to join CEA, Clean Energy Alliance, so that, and even Poseidon, that had initially said, no, we don't want to do this, they now are doing it. And that's a big load, right? But this is something that is really stable. It's been around for a bit, and it's really, really exciting for Oceanside. The other thing that has to do with our environmental footprint is organics recycling. As you know, we are all going to be recycling our food starting January 1st. Right? Have you gotten those mailers from Waste Management? Yeah. So no, we're supposed to get new lids. I don't know if we're going to get new actual bins. Do you know? I know for sure the lids. The lids are going to have instructions on there, and so it's right around the corner, guys. So really excited about this. And Measure X, which has been wonderful for Oceanside. It's a 7-year program. It's been a 7-year program that has really helped us in terms of public safety. It's helped us build Fire Station 1, for example, which is a really, really critical project. Also, public safety, homelessness, gatekeepers, roads, fixing roads. I mean, it's been wonderful. We have raised $67 million so far. This year, we're projected to get $18.3 million. So that's really, really exciting. Now it is up, and the city is looking into doing completed a survey as to whether or not it should be extended. If it were to not be extended, we will lose a lot. There are so many projects that we really want to, and like I said, we need to build, like the pier, the concrete part of the pier. So this is really important. We'll be getting more information about this, but the council will be deciding on whether or not it should be on the ballot for extension this coming next November. Now the slides.
Well, let's do a time check. So it's like 1:45. And
Is it really?
Yeah.
I talk too much.
We can stay a little late. If
We
you
had a little later.
want. We can stay.
And the other thing, I want to leave time for
Well,
questions.
Susan wants to be able to answer questions, I'm sure.
Yeah. So maybe we can go through them and you
Yes.
can say.
Yeah, well, coming soon is the Coast Highway Corridor Project. As you know, This has been, staff has been working on this, there have been other public meetings, I wanna say for over 10 years, right? So you gotta save the date, it's January 16th. January 16th is gonna be the next public hearing on this. So it is to transform Coast Highway into one lane each way, divided by a raised median with bike lanes, roundabouts, mid-block crosswalks, landscaping, and improved sidewalks. So please come to the meeting. That's a very, very important one. Traffic calming, understand that you are talking to the city about traffic calming. As you know, we had put $200,000 into the budget. This past budget, almost all of that is going to Fire Mountain. Another $200,000 was added to that. So we're working with this,
Yeah.
I want to say squeaky wheel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Just a little,
Squeaky wheel.
so the OCNA board is meeting with the city assistant manager and the development director and a few other people to help fix some of the drive-through stuff and put stop signs or traffic calming elements along certain busy streets, because we're concerned with the lane diet that is pending, whenever that happens, that go-arounds will make our neighborhood intolerable. So we're working proactively on
On
that.
traffic calming, yes. Could you change the slide?
Yeah, sorry. I just say next.
Yeah, okay, next. Okay, that's what I was just talking about, so next.
Okay.
Okay, now this is gonna be hard to read. These are the downtown projects that are approved and or proposed. See, so you've got, go to the next one. Sunset's Mixed Use Project, right? And that is 180 units.
That's on Horn Street.
It was approved by the council on September 13th. And it's 4,996 square feet of commercial. A number of affordable housing units are 18, and proposed parking are 330 spaces. Next is 901 Pier View Way. 64 units, 2,500 square feet of commercial.
Before you go on, where was the first one?
That's Horn Street North.
Horn Street.
Horn Pier View Way.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But, I mean, I just wonder, because I live downtown, what this is doing to the traffic and the roadways, it's just gonna be so, it's already horrific.
Yeah, let's go through them all first.
Well, before we get into discussion, let's
Okay,
finish
sorry.
there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Because they're just here to answer some of these questions, right?
Yeah.
And before we go any further, this is not the end. You know, this
Yeah.
is like an introduction of what's going on. And I'm sure Mayor will come back or Sergio to help us with some of those questions. And
Yes.
I would be happy to put some of these things on our website so that you have it, and maybe a link to whatever the city has. So it's not the end, it's the beginning of understanding all that's going on.
And some of these are definitely gonna be built, like the transit center one, right? Some of them, we don't know if they're gonna be built. They were approved, but I know, I imagine that in the planning department, they're taking bets, right? Which ones are gonna be built?
Market conditions are great for development.
Market conditions, okay, so saved by the market conditions, saved by the bell, market conditions. Okay, this one is 401 Mission Avenue. It's a mixed-use project, 332 units, 19,420 square feet of commercial.
Is this
This is the Regal Cinema, okay?
Bold as it.
And this is the one I actually have my own questions about, because I do remember that before I got on the council, I heard all about this project, the Regal, that it was the land, which was a park, like a park. The city had done redevelopment, raised everything, the bars, topless bars, the whole thing, right? The kind of trying to change their image, right? And so the land was sold to the developer for $200.
Oh my God.
And, well, I'm not done. And the parking was all waived for the first phase, not for the second, where the Hardy Sushi is, but on the first, which is a Regal, which we have enough of the parking. What my concern was, because they had currently we have a public plaza. I assumed that all the giveaways that we did was so that we could have this public plaza. So my question is, are we gonna be able to have a public plaza here at this site?
2 public plazas.
2, are they gonna be the same size?
They're about the same size combined.
Combined, okay. Well, kind of like the size of the one.
It's, there's a restaurant in between, one little one and one sort of one.
Okay, next is 815 North Coast Highway. That is the Madeira Neptune.
That's transit.
That's, okay, we skipped it. Okay, that's okay. This is a transit center. This is 547 units, hotel with 173 rooms, 64,085, probably commercial. Of NCTD headquarters, 5,438 square feet, modern intermodal transportation center, and 29,000 square feet of retail and restaurants. So I'm sure you've been looking at this and hopefully commenting on this one, because we actually have some discretion on this one, believe it or not. Doesn't it feel nice to have discretion?
Yes.
So Joe? Huh?
Discretion on this.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's nice for planners to be able to have discretion, isn't it? It's like, oh, right, finally something we can dig our hands into. Next is 810.
That's the Madeira.
Did I get it right?
Kick it back to that
810.
second one before, that was that Madeira
810.
one.
That's a 206 units, including 5 live-work units, and that's 32 affordable housing units.
How many total in that building?
206 units.
I didn't count that one. That was almost 2,000.
No, no.
What was the address
This
of that again?
810.
That's the concrete building by Bank of America. Just
Michigan.
Sorry. Okay, there's Neptune.
Madeira, that's
There you go.
Madeira.
That was at Madeira.
Okay, they're not in this order.
Coast Highway.
Go back to Madeira.
712. 712 is Seagates, that's 179 units and 1,581 square feet of commercial with 18 units of affordable housing.
That's LLL Reptile next door.
Seagates.
Almost 2,000 units.
So the density cap, the density cap is, as you heard, we talked about that. So, next one. This is a regional housing needs assessment. Oh, if you can skip that one. Regional housing needs assessment. Do the next one. That's a table.
So how many units does it say we have to have? 4,000? Right.
5443.
54, and so we got almost 2,000 downtown, right? With all these developments downtown, that's almost 2,000.
So the city gets credit for,
Can you speak that way?
sure. The
You want
city
to
gets-
come here?
Sure.
You got the, I think this is your chart.
That's our table out of the, so this is table 2 out of the, annual progress report that the city files with, the State Department of Housing and Community Development. It shows progress through, the calendar year 2022. The city only gets credit for building permits issued. So the tally shows over the first 3 years of the housing cycle, or 2.5 years of the housing cycle, the city's issued 1,349 building permits. So we're left with a balance of 4,094 units to account for.
But that's all over Oceanside, that's not just downtown.
That's right, that's citywide.
And is building permits for like a 10-plex count as 10 rooms, or does it for the housing, or does it?
A 10-plex meaning like 10 apartment units?
Right.
Right, so that's 10 units.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
So right now, our obligation is 5443. We issued permits through year 2022, 1349, so our balance is 4094. This doesn't account for all the.
All the
building
stuff
permits
that was
issued
on
in
the
2023.
first spreadsheet you just showed there is almost 2,000, and that doesn't include the 700 at the Wave Park.
So
And
similar
we're
to
getting
the,
close.
similar to the mayor's point is that until these projects get building permits, we don't get credit for
Right.
them. So we're
Yeah.
not certain, there's no certainty that
Sure.
all the projects that are in process are gonna actually be built.
Right. But it means we
Okay,
try.
let's finish. and
Although
then-
I did talk to the developer of the Wave project, he's moving forward now that the lawsuit is done.
Yeah.
Next is the homeless issues, which we've already talked about, but just here, the point in time for 2023 showed 290 unsheltered people in Oceanside, a decrease of 8.8%.
Wait, 290 homeless, and we spend 11 million? I want that dog.
This is the shuttle, just to show you
Go
the
side.
area, yeah, the go side. This is showing you the expanded area that they're now operating.
So that's the harbor, it goes all the way up to the harbor and all the way down to Vista Way, and sometimes we'll take you to the lagoon, the Buena Vista Nature Center.
And it's not gonna operate on Monday, Tuesday,
And-
until.
Right,
spring.
they're doing winter, yes.
But otherwise, it's Wednesday through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Next one is Rebeach. So again, Wednesday, December 13th, actually it's from 4 to 7 p.m., my apologies, for that last meeting, the third meeting. Next, yep. And basically that's it, this is customer care for you to call.
Oh, that's the app. By the way, if you have any issues, the best thing to do with the city, whether it's traffic, parking, homeless encampments, water run on graffiti, all of that, you can go on to OCNA101.org under resources, public stuff. And you put that in there and boom, it gets done. And you get an email telling you it's been done.
This is true.
So don't complain anymore. Put it all on.
Good to know.
It's on an app.
Yeah.
They must
It's a
have you
picture.
on
GPS is on.
redial them.
Yeah, well, I mean, because, here's the thing, if they track this information, so if you don't report it, then it doesn't, there's no tracking of it. Whether it's a police thing, whether it's a, water thing, whether it's, whatever it is, traffic thing,
Oh, that's where the lights were.
yeah.
You mean I could have read better?
We're gonna see the screen.
So remember, go on OCNA101.org, under resources, and it's on that page, you'll have to sign up a little bit, a little information. But then it's just easy to let the city know, and you'll get feedback that it's being worked on. So, right away, so it's routed to the right department.
So Jane has a copy of this, these slides, if you want her to email it to you. She'd probably get it back to you faster. And now questions, and Sergio's gonna come back.
I have a question for Sergio. With that, like I say, approximately 1,300 that we've already done, and like I say, of course, until the permits are issued, it doesn't count. But if you've got approximately 2,000 in the pipeline for the downtown area, then we have the Wave Park. How much else out there has been talked about? And do the shelter beds for homeless count of these kind of things as far as beds? I mean, as far as to hit that housing element? Because if the state's requiring approximately 5,000 rooms is what I'm guessing.
Shelter doesn't count as.
It doesn't, okay.
Because it's
So
temporary.
how many others are out there plus the 2,000 approximately for downtown area?
Yeah, there's a host of projects that the city plan division is currently working on. We keep all that information is public. We have through the planning division webpage.
Okay.
There's a map. It's known as the project map viewer. It's accessible through the planning division webpage.
Okay.
And it shows every project that's going on. You kind of simply click on the colored polygon. It gives you project information. And then there's a little link at the bottom that says more info. You get really detailed information.
Well, I know the e-track it and all of that. You
That's
can
through
go
e-track.
farther
So
and
it's
then,
it's a direct link to e-track it through the project map viewer.
because I,
That's also on the website,
Okay.
OCNA101.org, the link to this map.
Project map viewer.
yeah. I just didn't know if you had a ballpark off the top of your head, if you're getting close of what's on paper.
I don't have
Yeah.
that. I don't think those.
Sounds like you're close.
There's another question?
In the past couple of weeks, I've noticed a proliferation of dogs running on the beach,
Yeah.
both on leash and off leash. whose responsibility is it to go and tell these people that dogs are not allowed on the beach? I understand with the whole strip of the beach, there's 3 signs that say dogs are not allowed.
Right, so, as you know, we still are short of police officers.
Well, how about putting some
10.
signs up?
What was that?
How about putting signs up?
More signs.
I mean, you have signs under beach regulations that people are supposed to read all that. How about just signs with a dog? Huntington Beach saw it, I just saw it today, a dog with the circle with the X through it. And put them on all the posts with the doggy face.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, you need more, I mean, three signs for that whole beach area.
I will bring that up.
Yeah, I wonder about nuclear station, what is the project state of this project? And I heard about the
The
nuclear
transit
station.
center?
Huh?
Which project?
Nuclear station, old one, the
Oh, the
demolition
nuclear
one.
Oh, the power.
And
Uses.
what I'm interested about, this is debris, not debris, you know, they save it in
The waste,
waste, somewhere on the water, on this hour.
Right.
And I remember that our senator, it was his prime to take it out because, you know, Star
Yes.
Storm. Where we are now, with this particular.
They still have to find, they're still looking for places, number 1, place to house it temporarily, and number 2, for permanent. So at this time, we don't have any states that are willing to do that. So until that happens, and it's ongoing negotiations, basically.
So
There's
if
just no
nobody-
place to put it.
So if no state wanted, what then? We kind of waiting until we will be kind of poisoned and could not live.
I doubt that will happen, and, you know, if there's any kind of a, because they are definitely, watching that pretty closely. So if there was any situation, then of course we'd have to find a place, in California to do it. Probably the desert.
Another question here.
How many people are using the new homeless shelter, would you say? That 50
It's up to
beds?
50 beds.
But how many are using? How many?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
with regard to that, I was just watching something from Counselor, or, whoever, Desmond, and they're saying that they have these services, but they have to get tested and they have to be in a program. Is that part of this?
No, this shelter is low to no barrier. Bottom line is that this shelter helps us clear out encampments, because we cannot even talk to someone unless we can offer them some kind of shelter. So when we get, and we do have complaints about encampments here or there, so it's basically, as they come, we address it through code enforcement, but we're able to offer them shelter, and if they don't take it, we can still clear that out. So it helps us, even if they don't want to do the shelter, go to the shelter, they'd rather stay homeless, or stay there for a day and then leave, you know. It helps us to clear out encampments.
Once they go to the shelter, do they have to be off drugs and everything?
Not this one.
No, it's a no barrier, low barrier, no barrier. Now, it is with services, so obviously the services that are being offered is, you know,
Drug and alcohol.
yeah. No, we can't make them do that, and honestly, I was a deputy public defender for 20 years, and you have to basically hit bottom to finally, and sometimes that's, you know, finding God, or realizing that you're having a kid on the way and you want to actually be a good dad
You know,
or
I
mom.
did OPD for 100 years, and there are ways to help people get off.
Yeah.
You know, so many people were successful.
Well, yeah, drug court was 85%, but the laws have changed. Yeah.
Consequences are important.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions before we wrap up? One more.
I'm relatively new to Oceanside,
Welcome.
and thank you. Is an awful lot of the new building that you showed new projects, they're multi-story. So you're gonna be blocking views
You don't own the view,
of the
unfortunately.
residents.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a cap on how high? And why so many?
Sergio, would you like to answer that question?
And why are they all in District One? So it's a great question, with respect to building height limits. So the zoning ordinance does have building height limits, 45 feet. In some instances, you can go up to 65 feet. And there's other instances, you can go up to 90 feet. However, as the mayor alluded to earlier, there's often state mandates that the city has to comply with. One of them is a law known as state density bonus law. It's incentive for developers to produce affordable housing within a project in return for garnering greater density within their projects. Other incentives included in that law are waivers, unlimited waivers of development standards that would physically preclude a development at the density proposed. So often one of the waivers that the developers seek are a waiver to the height limit. Every project you saw on that screen, with the exception of the Oceanside Transit Center redevelopment, is utilizing density bonus to obtain the densities and the building masses that you're seeing there.
And the reduction of parking.
Another important note to keep in mind is the city doesn't have any view preservation ordinances on the books. We do protect public views, so within our public streets, we protect those views when they're a view corridor to the ocean. That's a policy within our local coastal plan, but not private views. So that's not something that this city considers.
Well, do you have to do what the state
We do.
recommends?
Unfortunately, we do, because there's
I mean,
consequences.
it seems that if Sacramento is dictating, and it isn't for the good of the people who live here, that,
You have to vote them out.
You have to vote them out and put people in office who will go in and take the teeth out of the laws that we currently operate under.
Yeah, last year they tried to do, tried to get an initiative on the ballot to reverse all of this, and it didn't get enough signatures. Bottom line is, it's a very, very powerful lobby, the developer community, and they unfortunately fund anyone and everyone. It doesn't matter what party you are, they will fund you. So they have a lot of power in Sacramento. I never thought I'd see this, the day that our leaders would be kind of turning their backs on the communities that they came from.
I know it's a city responsibility that we have to provide affordable housing, and there's gonna be density cap busters coming through and earning the extra space. Are any efforts being made, though, to make it a more equitable distribution among the districts within Oceanside? Because clearly we've lost control of the buildings that are gonna go up.
Well, the downtown is really where we had higher heights, right?
Why is that necessary?
So I could address it briefly, and I could tell you what the response of the city was. So, as the mayor alluded to earlier, in 2019, the council voted to lift the density cap within the downtown zoning district for mixed-use developments. An unintended consequences of that was pairing unlimited density with density bonus law. So as the mayor alluded to, the thought process in 2019 was that through our objective design standards that are embedded within our zoning ordinance, we could regulate the mass and scale of these buildings, limit the height, limit the setbacks, limit how a building has to meet daylight plane, so it's stepped back as it gets higher. And those are all waivable under state density bonus law. So that's kind of the unintended consequence. As a response to that, the council gave staff direction to re-implement a density cap, which was recently voted on, and will become effective December 1st. So projects that haven't taken advantage of the unlimited density or haven't filed what's known as an SB 330 application, another state mandate, will no longer be able to achieve the types of densities that some of these projects are achieving.
Do they really think they're gonna fill all those rooms?
to the mayor's point, we're not sure that all these projects are gonna get built, so.
To me, there's gonna be a glut of rentals out there.
They did a project, what was it? It was 375 square, was it 375 square feet?
Yeah, that's-
For a two-bedroom? Who the heck is gonna rent a two-bedroom,
That- isn't
375
that the
square
way the
feet?
one that's-
I just think that project, it's not gonna get built.
Yeah.
I mean, because you have to attract someone, they were saying, oh, well, that's, young folks.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that would have $4,000, $5,000 a month to pay for a teeny tiny, which is really, what is it called, not an efficiency, what is it called? A studio.
So it's really a 20 by 20 big bedroom, right, with a kitchen and a bathroom somehow put in.
Yeah. So I think, even though, for example, all parking can be waived within a half a mile of the transit, you know, of the
That's
rail,
the crow flies.
right? Who's gonna build something without any parking? No one's gonna buy that.
A developer did do that in San Diego, and their project failed. And so they had to go and find parking.
He's renting from a parking lot down the street. He only had 17 parking spaces. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of transit happening down in San Diego, but none of it is coming up to North County, and that is a problem. We are gonna be in a transition, for decades, in terms of, I mean, I would be happy to have more buses on Coast Highway so that people would not have to, you know, drive, from downtown to South O. Be you a tourist or a resident, say, oh, I think I wanna go there now, you know? Say you've been, doing a beer crawl, why not take public transit? I had a chance to go to college in Providence, in law school in San Francisco. I took public transportation, it was fine, of course I was a student, right? But I really enjoyed my $30 monthly pass to be able to get anywhere, everywhere.
But I bet you it was more than every half hour, that's the problem. You know, it could take you 2 hours just to go grocery shopping here.
That is part, I mean, I'm from
Well,
Boston, so I mean, I've never used my car, it was all public transportation
Yeah.
everywhere.
And when I was in DC one summer, I would take the bus there, but call a cab home because I'd buy a lot of groceries, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are different ways to get around, and we're becoming more urban. We're more urban, in North County, the most urban city in North County, right? So we really should have a better bus system, which would mean, by the way, having a dedicated lane for buses, right? So we're kind of bypassing that for now, but I'm sure we can revisit that whenever, you know, we finally do get a real true public transportation network here.
Okay, we taken, used to be about Marriott Hotel, it was kind of fine to build on the Oceanside Boulevard.
Oh, yeah.
Marriott, what is the state, they are still wanting to build hotel?
That's the horrible hotel.
Yes, the hotel. Are they still in the plan, that hotel?
The project's gonna expire in February.
Who was there?
The project is set to expire in February, so
So
they have
probably
to,
not.
they have to obtain grading permits still and then start work before February, or else they're not gonna be able to build that
Oh
hotel.
gosh.
All right, we're gonna wrap up because we have to get
Thank
out
you.
for St. Mary's.
If you have any suggestions for, obviously I have to talk less, got it.
No.
But definitely, I mean, I don't wanna bore people, right?
Wasn't
But thank you very much.
Thank you.
And really,